Hello and welcome to this webinar on the gift of feeling good, cultivating positive feelings as a resource. And
Hi.
I'm Ann Weiser Cornell. No, you go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm Peter. Peter Gill, also one of the hosts and teachers for this course. Welcome to everyone.
Peter and I have known each other a long time. And one of the things that feels good right now, Peter, is teaching with you.
Hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
We've been we've been in the focusing world, teaching focusing for a long time. We both have books about focusing. That
Hmm.
feels good too. And it was Peter who had the idea of teaching a course on focusing on good, positive, enjoyable feelings as a resource. And we're doing this webinar in connection with that as well.
Hmm.
And I thought, wow, that's such a good idea. Because really our bodies always feel positive somehow. So and lately some hard things have been happening in my country and to me personally. And it's such a gift to be able to pause and get in touch with what feels okay right now, even okay.
Hmm.
And you were wanting to do this course, this kind of presentation also, weren't you? For some good reason.
Yeah. I could say a little bit about what sort of how this came about, if you like. I think
Yeah.
for me, focusing it initially, was just a relief to be able to take the problems and look at problems and in a new way that actually made a difference rather than just getting tangled up in them. And so it was amazing to me focusing 20 odd years ago, but quite soon into that practice was I realized, or things sort of spontaneously came that felt good, like gratitude or wonder or joy or appreciation or just feeling peaceful and calm in my body and just really noticing that having nothing going on. Wow, nothing's going on right now that needs attention. It's just feeling good. So this would happen kind of spontaneously, and then I began to just experiment with taking topics that weren't problems. I mean, this is the real inspiration for this course is focusing as more than problems, even though the books are written about problems. But things like taking poems, taking poetry, or a really amazing experience of watching a film that really moved me, or being out in the
Hmm.
forest the day before and noticing how it made a difference, but then taking it and really exploring it in a kind of embodied way. And
Mm.
more would come, and it felt so rich and so nourishing. So I've always felt that focusing is much more than about problems and wanted an opportunity to explore it in this kind of
Yeah, I
way.
mean you can use the phrase something about. The other day
Mm.
I watched a movie that's out in the theaters now, and I liked it and my sweetheart didn't like it. And I wanted to tell him, I wanted to say, so there was something about that movie that I really
Mm.
liked.
Mm.
And not just to rattle off some answers off the top of my head, but really take some time to feel
Yeah.
into the liking of it in me. And it also helped me to understand that for him that was different.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. Lovely.
So we'll take a moment just to introduce our plan for today. And I'm going to just show you my slides here for a moment. So we are going to, this is our webinar for today, The Gift of Feeling Good. And here's our plan. We're going to have three topics. One is how your body can give you feelings of calm, peace, ease, happiness, and joy. And then we're going to go on to what gets in the way of feeling good. And we're going to complete our webinar today with simple processes to help you access feeling good anytime you need to. So when we talk about the first topic, how your body can give you feelings of calm, peace, ease, happiness, and joy, ah, well, that already sounds so good to me.
Mm.
Like maybe, and this is a key thing, let's pause. Maybe all of you would like to pause and sense if you feel a response inside you, like a wanting or a being drawn to, your body giving you feelings of calm, peace, ease, happiness, and joy. I like it. So why is that so important? Why is it important, Peter? Is that something you can hold forth on?
There's two things that come to mind. One is this idea of sort of resourcing, how it kind of, well, it gives us foundations, something like that. That's the image that comes to mind right now. Like it roots us into something much more solid. If we're constantly, well, there's a lot of difficulties surrounding us in the world, isn't there? And also extra added difficulty of social media and pain and people complaining and being nasty to each other. There's so much, if you like, negativity. But the landscape is very hard to sort of be in, I think, that kind of landscape. And so, we're really pausing and dwelling on what feels good. For me, yeah, it feels like a tree rooting into the earth or something. It gives me solidity and stability and the capacity to meet some of that without getting just blown about by it. So
Yeah,
resourcing is a kind of word that fits for me there. I mean, it's more than
yeah.
that too, though. Like there's something about why it's important. It's like soul food. That's the word that came. Like it's food for the
Mm,
soul. This stuff. I mean,
mm,
perhaps all experiences, but particularly yes, experience of meaning, wonder, connection,
mm,
um, gratitude, or just feeling even just a little bit okay, feeling the breath, feeling stability in your
mm,
body. Yeah, safety.
mhm,
All of that is
mhm.
really nourishing for the being. So it
Yeah,
seems that it's more than important. It's like essential food, something like that.
essential food,
Yeah.
nourishment. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so beautiful. Yeah, and I remember some times in the last few months when I felt just filled with worry and anxiety and distress and I can't believe this is happening
Mm,
and it and those feelings came into my body and I felt sick to my stomach and yet if I took the time to be here now in this present moment, how am I at this moment? I could acknowledge the sick to my stomach feeling. And I also felt some kind of, right now I'm okay.
mm,
I'm I'm safe, I'm warm, I'm with someone I love. I could take a deeper breath. I'm taking a deeper breath right now, just remembering that.
yeah.
And I think one thing that's really important is that right now I'm okay was not a way of denying or pushing away
Mm,
those feelings of worry and anxiety and distress. It was a way of being present with thing,
mm,
the whole thing, me here right now. And that's hard. And I can sense those places in me that find it really hard. And like you said, I felt my steadiness. I felt my
mm.
rootedness in all that. And it was really a gift.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Lovely.
And we might have the idea that it's an either or.
Mm,
I can't feel good because I feel so bad. If I try to feel good, I'm papering over something and denying it or pushing it away or I don't see it hasn't been my experience, Peter,
mm,
that it's either or. I feel like feeling rooted and steady and stable and I'm okay gives me a bigger base of possibility to be with what doesn't feel okay.
yeah. Yeah. I love what you're saying, that it's not an either or. Sometimes it feels like it has to be. I don't know where that comes from, but you feel both. You can notice even like real, yeah, quite like anguish and really difficult feelings. And there can be this sense of, and yeah, I'm warm. I have I feel grateful for what I have, or just the feeling of the breath feels okay,
Hmm.
and that makes a difference. It makes a huge difference to have both, and it's not
Yeah.
about pushing that other thing away. It's just being bigger. That's certainly been my experience.
Being bigger. Yeah.
Mm. I'm
And
I might try. Yeah,
being bigger feels good. So
yeah,
feeling good helps us feel bigger, and being bigger feels good.
yeah. There's also one thing I want to share. I'm reminded of, like, I always think of plants. For some reason, now plants, plants, they grow towards nourishment in little roots in the soil, and but they also, they might also be experiencing, frost and difficulty and pain, but they're still living, they're still living towards goodness, towards what brings them nourishment. And for me, that's a real, I can resonate with that. Like, yeah, it's not just one or the other process happening. There is
We
this
are
growing.
like plants in that
Exactly. Yeah.
way, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
We
right.
also are always growing
Yes.
toward nourishment, toward life,
Mm.
toward further life.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of
Yeah.
intrinsic to living. Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Thought I'd share my slides another bit.
Mm.
So we we're starting with how your body can give you feelings of calm, peace, ease, happiness, and joy. Why that's so important? Because it's not either or, positive feelings or negative feelings. It's both and. And feeling good gives us qualities that help us with what's tough in life. Qualities like resilience, flexibility, and strength. So we'd like to take you through a process right now. Let's see what Allison wrote in the chat. I recall being fearful on the motorway, and while I could be with that, I could also be aware I
Mm.
was enjoying the flowers on the hard shoulder.
Yeah.
So I knew the fear wasn't all of me. That's a great example.
Cool. Yeah. Great. You could notice both. So good.
And be there for both.
Mm.
Well, we're going to take you through a little process right now. So we're not just talking about it, but we're having the experience right now.
Good. So yeah, maybe we can come back to some comments later. We'll just
Yeah, feel
take a
free to
little
keep
time.
writing in the chat, but we're also going
Yeah.
to do a process. Yeah.
Great. So as with any, even if you're new to guided processes like this, I'll say something like, if feel free to follow the process, obviously, but if it doesn't fit, if it's going faster than what feels okay for you, or something else comes, you just stay with what feels true for you. Don't feel like you have to kind of slavishly follow my suggestions and process. Obviously, treat it as invitational. Maybe. So yeah, we're going to do a little process that exploring anything that feels good right now, or alive, or okay, and just touching in on that in a fresh way. So feel free to have your eyes open or closed. Find a comfortable way to be, or as comfortable as possible. You don't have to be sitting, you can be lying or even standing and moving. Just check in with your body, what it, how it would like to be. And maybe just beginning by sensing that space around you, even with your eyes closed. You can do that. You already know something about the space you're in. So taking that in, the room you're in, the house you're in, the computer in front of you, and us here together. So taking in the environment. And then you might just notice the support, how your body is supported right now. And wherever you sense that most, it could be behind you or beneath you, and your feet. So it depends on how your body is, but somewhere there's that contact with whatever's supporting you. Just noticing that. And letting your body rest into that if it wants. Let it be supported. You might sense your as well as your skin, your clothes. You get a sense of your posture, noticing maybe your feet and your legs, buttocks. Also noticing the pelvis, a bit of the torso, and just letting your awareness kind of just rest into these parts of the body as I suggest them, if that fits. Maybe including your back and your chest. Notice how your arms are, your hands. Your shoulders, your neck, and your head and face. This way, getting a sense of the whole body, just as it is. And you might also notice now the breath, the breathing, and with that, feeling into and noticing your inner landscape, you could say. How is it inside right now? Maybe acknowledging firstly anything that's calling for attention urgently, anything that might be wanting to be known. Let's not push that aside. Anything that's struggling or anxious or in anything like that, just hello, hello to that. Let that be here. And holding a broader awareness or noticing anything else, any other quality in you that might feel okay or feel good or calm or settled. These are lots of my words, but just in your experience, what feels somehow okay or good to be with, even if it's just a little. Could be something in your body and physical awareness. It could be something in your senses that you can see or take in through any of your senses. Or really anything in a whole field of awareness. What feels okay? What feels good or alive? And particularly, don't look for anything grand. I mean, it might be something big feeling there, but it could be something very simple, just like the breath. The breathing feels okay, or maybe the texture of your clothes, or just the feeling of pausing and stopping. Or maybe just the quality of light or something the color you can see and take in. And be curious So how does it feel to take that in? Whatever, you let your kind of awareness settle on something, just to explore for a while, anything at all. And just begin to be curious. How does it feel? Maybe there's some words that might describe it, or some quality. How would you describe this feeling okay? Maybe even as you hear that word okay, you might be sensing, no, it feels different from that. It feels ... What does it feel like? Find your own way of describing it freshly. And even taking that word or that description back inside, really feeling it fully, checking it back if it's right. And a reminder to also acknowledge anything else that might be calling right now. If you're following and something else has come in that calls for attention, just include that in your awareness too and be with that. So it's not either or, it's and. Holding both, being a space big enough to hold both, what feels difficult and what feels okay, even if it's just a little. And maybe let's just stay here for a little while, just a minute or so, just quietly, exploring, being curious, taking time to be with what feels okay or good or alive or nourishing. Anything in that kind of area, that landscape. And then bringing that exploration to a gentle close. Take a while to transition. You might open your eyes if they've been closed, or move a little if you've been still, look around. And also, if it feels right, staying connected to it. If something came that did feel good or okay, alive, feel free to be with that still as we move on.
Wow, that was so nice.
Mm.
People can say in the chat if they want to how it
Yeah,
was or what came.
yeah, please say how it
And
was. Yeah,
I'm going to say how it was for me
yeah, go.
because I've got something going on right now that if I think about it, it brings feelings of uh, fear in my
Mm.
body. And that was happening
Yeah.
right away. This in my body, finding this big feeling of fear.
Mm.
And something about your voice and the pace of the process, and especially helped when you said it doesn't, we're looking for something that feels good. And I started to feel some
Mm.
things, but none of them are very helpful. And then you said, it doesn't have to be something grand.
Yes.
And somehow that just really, oh, okay. I'll just look for very simple things. And it was maybe just my breath, or maybe just definitely my breath, and
Mm.
feeling supported, feeling comfortable, sound of your voice. It started happening that
Hmm.
I could feel myself getting bigger than the place that's afraid. And I'm actually not feeling afraid right now.
Mm.
So, it's a beautiful example.
Yeah, I'm glad that was helpful. That it sort of came to me as I was speaking. No, like, oh, perhaps people are looking for something big, and I can do that sometimes. Look, I'm looking for a big feeling, a big good.
Right?
No, something every day,
Right?
really. Just the
Yeah.
breath or my hand. For me, it's my hands on my resting on my lap and
Mm,
my feet. Just,
mm,
oh, I feel good.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
simple.
Ola writes, I loved it, and I noticed I frequently get wandered away like a
Mm.
meditation, got lost in a story, but then returned.
Okay.
But I was away long enough that I missed some of what was said. Well, there will be a recording. But I think that's very natural with a guided process like this, that we go away and we return
Hmm.
and can pick up where we hear again. Maria writes, I felt calm and content inside despite my bad cold. But then something came and asked if there's a reason to feel good, if it's okay to feel good. Okay, we're going to talk about that next, the things that get in the way of feeling
Hmm.
good. Vicky noticed prickly feelings in the upper body and a gentle breathing in my hands feeling soft and warm. Very
Lovely.
nice. And if you can send your chat to everyone, that would be nice. Cassandra wrote, although I'm experiencing some unpleasant body feelings, when I sense in for something, even little, that feels good, I discover my toes doing a little dance down there.
Great.
It's interesting to notice how my attention seems to be drawn to painful feelings.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that on the
And
course.
Stephanie writes,
Mm.
the good was in the process of feeling grounded. The thinking was something I struggle with. Being calm with that both was right. Okay. Well, let's say more about what can get in the way of feeling good, because people are already mentioning in the chat some of the things that can get in the way,
Mhm.
like feeling like I keep being drawn back to what feels stressful, painful, anxious, those sometimes big body feelings. And another thing that can get in the way of feeling good is this, uh, what Maria mentioned, is it okay to feel good?
Mm.
Do you have enough reason to feel good? Like somehow I need to justify, some part of me feels like I have to have a reason to feel good. It's interesting.
Mm.
And what are some other ways that people are aware of that can get in the way of feeling good? I actually am aware sometimes when I feel good that I feel like it will get me in trouble somehow. Like if I feel too fortunate and lucky, then that will attract something bad. It's it's some kind of ancestral habit. Do you know? Like if I read in stories about people in earlier times that if somebody said something positive, then somebody else had to say something negative, or you had to throw salt over your shoulder or something.
Mm.
That it was somehow, and I still have it. I'm not. I don't have those. I don't think I have those superstitions, but there's some kind of feeling that
Mm.
better not feel too good. There's a cycle, and if you feel too good, you're going to feel bad next, or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I just put that question in the chat there. What gets in the way of pausing to feel good? So it's not just what gets in the way of feeling good, what gets in the way of pausing to feel good, which I
Oh, uh-huh.
like that little. There's sort of both
Yeah.
questions in.
And that then maybe raises the question, do I deserve it?
Mm,
There's something
mm,
about some part of me that feels a little guilty or undeserving, or have I done enough to, is feeling good a reward? Yeah. And
mhm.
people
Oh
are
yeah.
writing
My my
the
favorite one is other
possibility.
people that don't have it so good. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, right. Other
No, I was
people
just
don't have
sharing.
it so good. How
Yeah,
dare
yeah.
I?
That's exactly something in me feels like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling good because there's people in terrible situations around the world, or even friends who are having a hard time.
And
Somehow it makes
and
it harder for me to feel okay. Good.
are you dishonoring their trouble
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
by feeling good? Yeah,
Yes.
that's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah. Uh, Kathleen writes, my hyperactive ADHD self makes it hard to sit still and be with the
Sure.
process. Yes. Catherine wonders if it's something like shame. And Andrea writes, it's difficult to stay with what feels good, but the both and helps a great deal.
Great. Someone else said earlier, as Elizabeth said, it felt good to be present with what wasn't feeling so good. That's interesting. Yeah, that I notice that a lot with folks.
Right, right,
It's strange. It feels good to acknowledge what doesn't feel good. Yeah.
right. Oh, and Vicky writes, some part can feel resistant to having to feel good. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to have to feel good. Of
sure.
course. I
Yeah, yeah,
love
yeah.
that. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Jane writes, other people's suffering often overshadows feeling good and blessed for my own life.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we don't have like solutions to these issues. What we have is to acknowledge, to be aware of, and to acknowledge something in me. We can use the language of something in me that can help be with whatever's here. Something in me thinks about other people, whether they're okay, whether I should even be feeling good when I know those other people are greatly suffering. And then something in me isn't sure I deserve to feel good. Something in me feels like feeling good will make me irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
Something in me is worried that feeling good will make me irresponsible. So, and oh, something in me, Inika writes, can we stay motivated to do something about the
Mm,
bad if we're feeling good? Like, so there's a part of us that believes the way to be motivated to do whatever it is, help other people or
mm-hmm.
do things to improve our own lives. Just feeling good might be, oh, it's okay. I don't have to do anything, like watching the
Mm,
river roll by. So that's a worry. And every time we have a part that's worried, we're also hearing what it doesn't want. So something in me doesn't want me to lose motivation. It
mm-hmm.
wants me to be motivated.
Something comes to me here, and it prompts me to say that this maybe the word good is
Ah,
it's much bigger than the word good, isn't it? The good is that we're pointing
right.
to. I feel like we're pointing to something much bigger. Like it can feel good to do something really difficult. Like it can feel good to take on a challenge, uh, or to take on a healing journey, or to go on a pilgrimage that's really hard work, or talk to a. It felt, yeah, so you can it felt because it's meaningful because it brings us something new because it's a challenge. Just like it doesn't. So good doesn't always mean it feels kind of hooray, amazing and positive, and you know what I mean. So my sense of the good in the way I think we're meaning good is more than just pleasant. Things can
More
feel
than
chat.
just pleasant.
I think I just wanted to
Yeah,
get that across a little bit in terms of yeah, something of what we're getting at. Good
hmm
is bigger than just pleasant.
exactly.
Mm,
There's an inner sense of rightness. I'm on the right
exactly.
track. I've done really hard things in my life that were the right thing to do, that were meaningful, that
Yeah.
that brought me a feeling of satisfaction and contribution, and that's important too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bet that all of that didn't feel good. I mean, in the sense that there might have been real challenges and difficulties to be with in all of that. So, yeah.
Sarah wrote the word wholesome works.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Well, we've got more we want to share around simple processes to help you access feeling good anytime you need to. And we know that many of you are here because you're interested in knowing more about our course. It's coming up later this month at the same time of day on Mondays, right around now. And we're going to tell you a little about that course, and then we'll come back to the simple processes that help you feel good. You can draw on anytime. So let me share my screen. There we go. And yeah. So the course that starts on January 27th, so 3 weeks from now, is called Focusing on the Good, Cultivate Positive Feelings and Enjoy More of Life. And we are the teachers of that course. It's going to meet on 4 Mondays, but not in a row. First 2 Mondays and then skip a week and then 2 more Mondays. So it finishes on February 24th for 2 hours each time. And we're going to be giving more processes and exercises and practices for pausing and taking pleasure even in the smallest things. We're also going to be working with meaning, finding and treasuring what gives your life meaning. We're opening the door to play, awe, and joy, and drawing on positive feelings as a resource, and dealing with the times when feeling good makes you anxious or guilty. So the course might be right for you if you've been wondering how to have more joy in your life. If you feel like there's something in the way of feeling really good. If you're dwelling on problems and difficulties more than you'd like to. You yearn to feel good in your own body. And maybe also if you want to learn how to use focusing with enjoyable feelings. So it is, here's the details, $200, January 27 to February 24, but skipping February 10, 4 Mondays, 10 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific time. And we are the teachers. And the registration closes 1 week before the course starts. So we have 2 more weeks to register. So, yeah. Let's see if people have any questions about that course or anything more we want to say about it. We're creating lots of practices, things to take you through. And it will be a Zoom meeting, not a webinar, so the people in the course will be able to see each other. And there'll be a online course platform that's a kind of community where you can meet the other people in the course, reach out for focusing partnerships if you like, share poems, recordings. Laura asks, will it be a way of learning focusing? It is not a course for learning focusing, but it is a course that applies focusing to this topic of focusing on the good. And so you'll pick up a lot because we're using, would you say that, Peter?
Yeah. A lot of the a lot of the sort of principles and ways of focusing will be kind of felt. Yeah, and anyone can come to the course. You don't have to know focusing to come. So and that's true to say as well.
We're designing it for everyone, people who know focusing already and people who are new to it. And it what would be a way of introducing. And there will be recordings available after every session. And the recordings will be, definitely of use to you.
Yeah, you can follow it afterwards in that way.
All right. right, right, right. Yeah. And we'll talk more there about the inner sense of rightness and the different ways that we feel one feels good.
Mhm.
uh, so things like the sense of the the human need for a sense of meaning in life,
Mhm.
and spend more time on meaning and so on and so on. Yeah. So there will be more about resourcing. Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Good. And you'll get an email after this webinar is over, probably tomorrow, with the recording of this webinar and the link that will help you join the course if that's something you feel ready for. We would love to have you there. So now here for this webinar, let's move to simple processes to help you feel good
Mhm.
anytime you need to. This is a resourcing thing for you. Mhm. So what's always possible? And I want to say, by the way, that my, before we really started studying this and getting to know it better, I just thought feeling good happened to me, that it was something that if I was lucky, I would feel good. And to deliberately cultivate what feels good, it was a new idea. And and of course, by good we mean energizing, supportive, at ease, peaceful, relaxed, and so on. And to deliberately cultivate it, and then once I feel a little bit of it, to 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 stay longer with that, and to take more time there. So there's a two-part process really, in a way, to notice what feels good and then to choose to take longer, to dwell a while, to pause with what feels good, which, and remember in the process that Peter guided us through earlier, there was that sense, that invitation to describe what felt good. And I forgot to tell you, I got a word, and the word was smooth.
Mm.
So, and it took a while. Like at first, I couldn't describe it. We'll do another process. I'll take you all through a process in a couple of minutes, but let's just say some more of the things we might find as always available. And I think number one is the breath. I know some people have issues with your breath, that feeling with your breath doesn't feel good. However, if feeling your breath does feel good, that's always available. And another one is nature.
Mhm.
And I am lucky enough that I have a window right here. So I just to turn my head this far and I can see the trees and the flowers of my neighbors. And that gives me something. It makes me
Mhm.
smile. I feel like that helps. Right here, right outside my window, there's something green and alive. It's forget the name of that plant.
Mm.
What else?
I'm enjoying what you said about nature. And then even just looking, even if you're not necessarily, you're sort of inside, but you're looking out, even taking it in. I mean, I do the same every morning. If I'm not going out, I just look at the birds eating on our apple tree, and I've got feeders out there now in the winter, and just brings a lot of, well, I can't find the word for it, but it's some satisfaction and meaning just to see their aliveness. And for me, it also gives
Yeah.
connection. Just even if I'm just looking at my partner or my son or my dog, or just like a moment of taking in their my connection to them or their connection to me, or that mutualness is
Mm,
very,
mm,
yeah,
mm.
just a live connection, very
That
resourcing.
reminds me, a woman told me recently, whenever she feels down, she goes to the park to watch the dogs.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Maybe it's the dogs, maybe it's the kids, maybe it's we're hearing the
Mm,
bird song or
yeah, that's right.
something alive and something alive and innocent like dogs.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mm.
There's some great,
And
yeah.
what's around us right now, wherever you are, especially if you're at home in a space you've created for yourself, very likely there's something around you that is beautiful or meaningful or both. And you let your eyes fall on it, or you touch it and pick it up. And here's this stone that I found, and it makes me very happy just to look at, but also to touch. You've got something there, Peter.
There's a spoon I made years and years ago.
Oh,
It just
wow.
sits on my shelf, and but it's a nice bit of beech wood. But
You
yeah,
have it there.
have it there. It's really nice just to hold it after
Yeah.
it's been there, gone for a while.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ha. Yeah. So also could be a favorite memory, right? Something you're remembering. Uh, right now, I got a phone call 2 days ago, FaceTime from my daughter who had just given birth. Oh my gosh, I'll be able to draw on that memory for a long time.
Mm.
And what am I grateful for? It's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love what Jareen wrote in the chat. I love plants because they know what to do.
Yeah, me too.
That's so nice. So
Yeah, they didn't
nice.
get in their own way, do they? They just have to do their thing. Mm.
Well, let's do another process. Let me take you through a process
Yes.
now. So, this is about something ordinary near you. And we'll start by, excuse me, we'll start by inviting you just to feel your body right now. And that is a kind of pausing to take time. To feel your body here and now, how you're sitting. Although you might be lying down or standing, but most people are sitting. Anyway, how you're supported. Aware of the support beneath you. And how you're in contact with that support, perhaps with your feet, your seat, your back. Noticing if it feels good to be in touch with that support. So you're going to be aware of the support, and then there's this little extra awareness, which is, and does this feel good? Just to let myself rest into the support. And if it does feel good, taking a little time to savor that, to treasure that. And then there's your breath. I noticed when I was savoring the support beneath you, my breath got deeper. How's you noticing your breath? How your breath feels now. And how it feels to pause and be with your breath. And then if your eyes have been closed, see if it would be okay to just let them open, not to look at the screen so much as looking around in your environment. And let your eye fall on something. It could be something meaningful or beautiful, or it could be something ordinary. So I have this pencil. It's pretty ordinary. And I'm also noticing how it feels to hold it. Kind of smooth. Really fits my fingers very well. Now I'm going to close my eyes again, even though I'm holding the pencil. But if you didn't find something to hold, you might also have found something to look at. If you're something across the room or something outside the window. That's fine. Just let yourself have that and sense how it feels to be connected with it or to look at it or to see it. And I'm letting my eyes close again, even though I'm still holding the pencil. You have something that you've either touched or you've seen. And maybe say to yourself, so there's something about that that touches me or that feels good or that I'm helped by somehow. And without answering the question mentally, let the question come down inside. It's not exactly a question. It's more like a it's more like an unfinished sentence. There's something about this. And maybe there's something about this that has meaning, that's connected to the meaning that your life has. This pencil has a lot of meaning for me because about 5 years ago, I chose to start using pencils instead of pens because you throw away pens. It didn't seem right for the environment. And every time I use one of my pencils, it makes me happy. So you're asking yourself about whatever it is you chose. How does that have meaning for me? And we're going to invite these enjoyable feelings if you have some. Invite these enjoyable feelings to stay with you as you begin bringing awareness out. If your eyes have been closed, letting your eyes come open and noticing if you can still feel what feels good and enjoyable and meaningful, touching, helpful, supportive. How was that? Curious how it was. People can write in the chat if you want to. What about you, Peter? Did you do that exercise?
Yeah, well, I just took this spoon and I know I just appreciate it didn't matter that it was made by me, actually. It was just nice to dwell on something that was made by hand and not in a manufactured in a math in a factory. There's something I just really appreciating about the quality of handmade things. Like they've got love in them, or they've got
Mm.
appreciation and the choosing of the material and all of that. I mean, it could have been something else handmade, but yeah, I just thought, wow, isn't that amazing? Handmade.
Mm.
Then there's more there that didn't get time for, but yeah, that was lovely to be with.
Mm. And you could sense there was more if you had more time
Yeah, yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Hmm,
I
hmm,
think that's so important that this is what we've learned from focusing, that every feeling has more to it.
hmm,
If we stay with it and sense into it and say there's something about and the fact that focusing gets is so useful for difficult feelings can sometimes result in overlooking enjoyable feelings.
hmm, hmm,
I even heard somebody say once, uh, "Oh, I'm disappointed I didn't get any deep focusing today because I just felt good."
hmm.
That good feelings couldn't be a way of going deep, but I think they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When people are writing, David wrote it was deeply settling. Maria said it was comforting. Lily wrote, gazing at a small figurine that I love, it means so much to
Hmm,
me, brings a warmth in my chest and a friendly smile to my lips. Jareen says it's peaceful. A single blossom on the begonia, huh,
nice.
holds and embodies so much. And Haja writes, deepening feeling of contentment. Kim writes, my eyes fell on a pair of antique opera glasses that belonged to my grandparents. I'm
Mm,
so how nice you have that in your room, Kim. And it brought the feeling of being in their home and the sense of the connection that runs from them to me. And it was calming and grounding. I'm thinking about that, Kim's experience. The opera glasses have been right there, who knows for how long. But the
mm,
pausing right now to really take in what they mean, to let the body have that is really, really great.
mm.
Yeah. Yeah, Sarah says the invitation to sense the meaning in it and how it connects to the meaning of my life brought the sense of getting bigger. Great, great.
Yeah, and a couple of other
Wow.
people mentioned handmade things, which is nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
good. Something made by their
And
grandfather. Wonderful. Yeah,
oh yeah, and Chandra
so
says
much in it.
the ordinariness of it was actually significant.
Mm,
Wonderful. Great. Yay. Barbara writes, thank you. It's a great way to spend an hour and fuel the day. And I've more energy and can be with the huge dread I've been avoiding about my
mm,
partner's upcoming lung biopsy. Oh, Barbara, best wishes to you and your
mm,
partner.
mm. Yes.
Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thanks everybody for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been lovely, and there'll be a recording, and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye
Take
for
care,
now.
everybody. Bye
Bye.
for now.